Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is kind of a no topic. It's called Freeform. And we get to see what happens when we just show up without an agenda. Maybe that's an agenda in and of itself, but we get to just see what emerges. So, welcome, Sophia. Good morning to you. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you guys here with us. Today is Freeform, so we get to talk about whatever. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, a loop, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just press our palms together and rub your fingers and your palms together and feel the friction, the texture, the temperature, and allow yourselves to use that sensation to become present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, what's happening? What do we talk about today? We can talk about what happens when you just show up with no agenda. Maybe you have an intention, like we can have an intention today to have a magical conversation and something that moves the action forward. Good to have an intention, even if we don't have an agenda. What shows up in a conversation when we don't have an agenda and we just allow ourselves to be present to what might unfold? I think that's an interesting thing in the context of sales. So sales is a tricky topic. I was in sales for, I guess, maybe about 12 years. And for me, it was always about relationship and providing a service. And when it started being about numbers and not relationship, that's when it started becoming something that I no longer could tolerate. And it's interesting because in my coaching practice, I go through, I have a 3-month cohort. By the way, the next 3-month cohort, if you're listening and you're interested, I still have maybe, I think, like 2 slots that are left. But and you can reach me if you're interested. I will provide you, if you're seriously interested, go check out my website at yourcoreconnection.com. I'll put that in the chat and read about the program. And if you're interested, then I will give you a complimentary session so you have an understanding of how it works. And then potentially you could start with this new cohort. Anyway, it's 3 months on, 1 month off. And if you want to come back, you can after the month off. So anyway, it's interesting to me because every every end of cohort, I get to fill some spots, right? So there are people that continue and there are people that complete. And so I get to fill spots. And I was talking to someone who was interacting with me around. So understand, for me, this service, this core connection process that I have developed, I am selective about the people that I work with. And it's not work for everybody. And I really am very invested in the people that I work with. And so this person was interacting with me like I was trying to sell something. And the truth is, I consider this work to be a gift, and a profound gift for those people who it's a good fit for. And it's interesting because if we think about sales, the reason I'm talking about sales is because I was talking about showing up with no agenda. Oftentimes with sales, people show up with the agenda to make a sale rather than to provide a service. And when sales is a service, when you're sharing a product or a solution that's a service, it's an entirely different thing than if you're trying to get a sale, if that makes any sense. So when we're focused on the other, when we're focused outward on the contribution we can make, what we can provide, that's an entirely different thing than what's in it for me and what can I get from you. And unfortunately, we've all experienced sales people who are out to get the sale, regardless of our need for the service, right? But when we are presented with an opportunity to receive something that is of benefit to us, that's a service, right? So when we show up with intention rather than agenda, when we focus on the process rather than the outcome, the interesting thing is that the outcome is most often quite a lot better. The outcome is most often much improved, because while we may not get an immediate sale, perhaps we create a relationship with somebody that provides a connection to somebody else. In fact, that actually happened in the context of me sharing my practice. There was a person that I did a session with, and they got a dramatic and profound result. And the timing for them right now with the cohort is not great. So they're not taking advantage of it, but they referred somebody else who jumped right on board, and where it was a perfect fit. So it's so interesting the way that things can evolve. And I wonder in our lives when we when we are in our jobs, when we're at work. Sophia says, thank you for mentioning that. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome. Great to have you here with us. So I'm not sure which part you're thanking me for, Sophia, but you're more than welcome. We're talking about showing up with no agenda, kind of free-forming things, and maybe having an intention. And so I'm just wondering, in our lives, if we show up with an intention to connect and be present, what might emerge for us that can be magical and surprising. So Rosalind says, I'm beginning to see the illusion and it loses its power. Getting curious then without realizing it. Seeing life from the point of view and seeing the light in others. This is exciting, Rosalind. As we see the illusion, as we see the structures, as we see the structures that we've lived within, then you're right. They lose their power, because then we get to choose. We get present to the capacity to choose, which is a wonderful thing. And then getting curious and seeing life from that point of view, and then seeing the light in others. That's beautiful, Rosalind. I'm so excited for you. I know you've been talking about truth, and letting the illusions fall away. So that's very exciting. Sophia says about the connect with people, even though they may not be our clients. Yeah. So I mean, you never know. So like my work for me, I'm very fortunate to be, to have been able to set up a practice where I get to work for myself. And as being able to work for myself, I get to set my own boundaries, my own rules. And I talk to and share the work with lots of people. And even if I just do one session with somebody, I know it contributes to them. And who knows what the ripple effect of that's going to be. And maybe they know somebody that is going to be a good fit. So you never know. And I had another person that I had an amazing session with, who expressed a deep, deep interest in my work. And I gift these sessions to people because I do. And she said, this has been such a profound contribution to me. I would like to make a donation. And she used that word donation, which had she said, I want to pay you, I would say, no, this is a gift, no charge. But she said, I want to make a donation. I never had anybody say that before. And I thought, wow, isn't that beautiful? That she felt so moved that she really wanted to make a donation. And I was so taken by that. And I didn't have any agenda other than to provide the possibility of a service that might serve her. And Rosalind says, I show up every day to uncover who is the real me and alleviate my own suffering, and maybe be able to help others discover that self-discovery and empowerment. That's a beautiful thing, Rosalind. So every day to be awakening more and more. Yeah, we get that opportunity. And I think that's a beautiful intention to be guiding our lives with. And as we have that intention, and perhaps the intention to connect authentically, to be responsive, to be a clear channel for the life flowing through us, that's a pretty awesome thing. Good for you. And it's a contribution to others, because we can really be present to the opportunities that present themselves for connection and contribution and growth and transformation and presence and awareness, all of that. So yeah, cool stuff. What else? What else if we're free forming it? You know, speaking of free forming, I think I told you guys about this woman, Veda Austin, that I encountered. I found out about her the other day. And she is just doing the most remarkable work with water. And I am presencing myself, if we're talking about free form, you know, water flow, all that comes to mind. And I am just presencing myself more and more to the mystery and magic of water. And, you know, yesterday we were talking about the assumptions that we live with and that guide our culture, and separation, confrontation, competition, all those kinds of things. And in thinking about water, you know, yesterday, and in thinking about all those paradigms yesterday, I said, you know, we think we're the most intelligent, the highest intelligence on the planet, right? And we don't really know much of anything about water. And water is the most prevalent element on the planet, right? This is, and in our bodies, in our food, it's the foundation of, very foundation of our lives. And we don't really understand it. I think I had heard that there are 63 anomalies in water. And I don't know. I'm just going to look them up right here. 64. Oh, so you know, it's so interesting. 64 documented anomalies of water. And it's so funny because when I was, when I had heard that, oh, now I see there are 70 anomalies of water. But when I had heard that there were 63 anomalies of water, I thought, oh, there should be 64 because there are 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, and the Enneagram works with the I Ching, and wouldn't it be beautiful if there were 64, but it looks like there are quite a lot more. So let's just see for fun. So water has an unusually high melting point, boiling point, surface tension, viscosity, heat of vaporization. It shrinks when it melts. So I don't, you guys know that like when you make ice cubes, water expands. It makes sense that it would. I don't know why other things wouldn't shrink when they melt, but it makes sense to me. Sophia says that you'd love to connect with me one-on-one. Okay, Sophia, would you do me a favor, please, and message me on Messenger? Okay, you should be able to message me, or you can reach me at Mira at yourcoreconnection.com. I'll put that in the chat. If you want to reach out to me. Lisa, so good to have you here with us today. You too have a wonderful day. And Sophia, reach out and we'll set up a time to connect. So I'm just looking, a lot of this, let's see. I guess we get to, I get to dig into this a bit more, but I'm fascinated by it. It says solid water exists in a wider variety of stable and metastable crystal and amorphous structures than any other material, which brings to mind again this woman, Veda Austin, who is doing all kinds of experimentation with water or communication. She's actually established two-way communication with water. So I know that so many of you speak with angels. Oh, wow. So Sophia, you're in Stockholm. Wow. Wow. So that's interesting. Very interesting. I look forward to connecting with you, Sophia. Please send me an email. We'll figure something out today to connect this week. That would be great. I can connect with you right after this, in fact, if you'd like. So I know that many of you have cultivated communications with angels, and this woman has cultivated communication with water, where she will put an image, like a photograph, under the water, and the water will then, when she freezes it, the water will replicate the photograph, or in an interpretive way. I mean, wild stuff. And she has created a collection of what she calls hydroglyphs, where she has asked the water the same thing multiple times. And it has, like, over 50 times, and it has responded with the same symbol that she is able to presence in ice. Remarkable. I kind of love, I mean, I'm excited to be cultivating that relationship myself. I've ordered her book. She's got multiple books. One of them is the Petroglyphs book, but I ordered her first book. I think it's called The Secret Life of Water or something like that. I'm not sure. I've forgotten at the moment. So Sophia says, I've been getting a lot of blue energy around me. You know, there in the US, there's with indigenous peoples, there is a story of the blue people. And they have been here for thousands of years, and they are able to go through the mountains. And I don't know a lot about them, but I wonder if it's your blue energy is connected with the blue people, or if it's the energy of water. I'm not very interesting. So Sophia says, I was just on an island, and wow, I can't wait to go back there in the end of June, as it's a retreat center. I wonder, where is that retreat center, Sophia? It sounds quite beautiful. So, so Sophia says, I was reading shamanic energy with the blue energy. Likely, very likely. So this work, the core connection work that I do. Oh, wow. Sophia says it's one of the 30,000 islands in Stockholm. I had no idea that there were islands around Stockholm. I had no idea. The work that I do, I really do consider shamanic work, because it's working with the other than conscious intelligence that you have. And that's what makes it so powerful, is that it's guided by your other than conscious intelligence, rather than my brilliance or not brilliance, whatever it is. You know, it's not because I'm some kind of genius or something. It's because you are. Oh, the Stockholm Archipelago. How cool is that? I had no idea. Never heard of it. Learning something new every day. See what happens when you show up to Freeform, right? When you show up with an intention but no agenda. So wonderful. That sounds very, very cool. So this engagement with water, I'm so intrigued. I'm so curious and awed. The more I learn to see, the less I know. That's great, Sophia. Sophia says, I love your session. I try to attend when I can. That's awesome. I so appreciate that you made your way here. And so this connection and communion with water, I think it just calls to me. It calls to me so deeply. And I'm very, very excited to be exploring more about it. In fact, there's a course that today is the very last day of registration. If you're interested, I know I've spoken of it a number of times. It's from an organization called Water Stories. And I'm putting the link for you in the chat. If you go sign into their community, then you can see the registration for the course. And it is to learn how to heal the water cycle, which I believe is the most hopeful thing, the most hopeful singular thing I've seen to be able to turn things around and give us the time we need to resolve a lot of the other issues that we get to solve on the planet to heal our relationship with the planet going forward. But through healing the water cycle, we have the ability to break the cycle of cataclysmic storm, fire, flood, and drought, and change the temperature to cool the planet as well, to restore the soils, restore the aquifers. And when we think of water as the blood of the planet, and we think of the planet as our mother in a way, you know, it's our support system, then understanding and connecting and relating to water makes even that much more sense, right? To be restoring the water cycle, to be understanding this very source of life. So Rosalind says, I ordered a Flask of water bottle. So I tried to do that yesterday and their site was down. It was the weirdest thing. It wouldn't allow me to order yesterday. So I hope that they're back up in business today. Now you made me want to go check and see if they're up. Let me see, flaska.com. I think it's flaska.com. No. Anyway, the Flask of water bottle is a water bottle that is supposed to, it's flaska.us. That and now it's back up and running. That structures water, and the structured water then programs or reprograms the water in our body, and it also allows and Sophia says, I love it. And Rosalind, so you've got a great recommendation. So I'm in the process of buying a flask also. It programs the water, and since we're water, it impacts our health and well-being. Sophia, I'm really interested to know what you've noticed as a result of drinking the water from the Flaska. Sophia says, I can't go anywhere without it. That's pretty awesome. So, all right, I'm sold. I hear that that plants really enjoy the Flask of water as well, which would make total sense, that they are happier. And they imbue the water with all different kinds of energy. Sophia says so much peace and so much change in my body. That's really exciting to hear, Sophia. All right. Today I'm ordering a Flaska. So, Sophia, if you could direct message me or email me, I'm going to sign off now. We can connect right after. And I just want to say thank you all again for a lovely morning of conversation and connection. I learned about the Stockholm Archipelago, and I just love connecting with you. So much gratitude and appreciation for you. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. I go live here each weekday morning on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network, EWN One with the Earth, Enlightened World Living. And until next time, so much love to you. Hope to see you here again really, really soon.